You're listening to the Cambridge Insider Podcast. In this episode, hosts Mariah and Stephen welcome in the new school year to our Cambridge partners with more news and updates, as well as a market update to our international student programs. Today's episode is sponsored by Allendale Columbia School. Allendale is an independent college preparatory school for students in nursery through 12th grade in Rochester, New York. Thanks for listening.
Cambridge Insider Podcast time. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Season 7 of the Cambridge Insider Podcast. Mariah Thompson, my co-host, our marketing director here at Cambridge Network. Can you believe that we are on Season 7?
It is insane to think about it. Season 7. If you're listening from years of this, you know that we switched from doing our whole school years to one season versus two. So we're probably on year 4, year 5 of the podcast. But yeah, Season 7, which
crazy.
It is and crazy.
For anybody there's a lot of great content out there in this pod. So have a look through some past episodes. If there's something, in the description that catches your, interest, have a listen. If you want us to revisit, a specific topic, as we sometimes do, that's our international education and the market has gone. We're absolutely happy to do that as well. It is summer, or the end of summer. I know in the Northeast, as we record this, it's been a little chilly, which is unseasonable, but we are sort of ending summer. We're heading into the fall. And Mariah, that at Cambridge means student arrivals.
Yeah, it's been a really great summer of just seeing more students coming into the U.S., getting plugged into our schools. Recently, I've taken over the marketing side for host recruitment for our host families as well, and just seeing good numbers coming in for our programs too, in areas where we would struggle with hosts. We're seeing them come in, so it's just taking a good turn this summer. Increased numbers of enrollments and for our host families too, which means more people are wanting international students, just not at the schools, but in their communities too. So it's great.
Absolutely. A shout out to Mariah and all of our marketing teams who've been hard at work through the summer, not just with recruiting great hosts for students to stay here, but helping our schools out, talking strategy, and we'll talk a little bit about that in this introduction to Season 7 episode.
Yeah.
Excellent. Awesome. I know that we are going to be sort of linking up a article in the show notes, something that we came across that I think was published in the last 2 or 3 days. Mariah's going to be putting that out there. But it's exciting to see some really good news coming into the industry. Mariah, I don't know if you want to sort of intro the article, if you want me to intro it, but really cool to see some good news and sort of just reinforce what we've said over some time now about the market as a whole.
Yeah, and so just to update our listeners, so this podcast, we will have news for Cambridge things. So after we talk about this article, we have some Cambridge updates to share too. But we also are going to give you live updates of what's happening in the market. And then, of course, in the last year, we've had a lot of political things happen in the U.S. that we've had to update to give you our insight on how it is going and what we predict to happen by it. So that is the two things that you can always expect from this podcast is news from our government and what's happening in the market for international students specifically. And then if you are a Cambridge partner, we will go into depth on some of the changes that we make within our company or additions we make in our company based off what's happening in the market. And so if you just hang on for Cambridge partners, we'll be at the end. But for this one, for this opening up, we just wanted it's perfect time when we get this article, because I think when we ended last season, it was good news too. Things had been lifted, but we just went through a season of almost rejection of students coming into the U.S. and then it got lifted. And so to come back into Season 7 and have some more good news, Stephen actually found this article. It's from the Pi News. I know for those who listen, that it's usually me who finds articles, but Steven's on his game this year.
Mariah is the research champion of this pod. There's no doubt about it.
Uh-huh. And so it's the Pi Network, and it is a network that many international educators know about, but it's transforming knowledge and networks in international education. And so just a few days ago, actually yesterday, they released this article, and it's will be in the show notes. So if you're listening on a podcast or on YouTube, you just go in the bio and you'll be able to find the link to this article. And it just says Trump pushes for 600,000 Chinese students in the U.S. And so I just want Stephen to kind of talk about some of the things that are mentioned here, but in reality, what does that mean for us? Um, and there are some numbers in here I wanted to go over too. But first, just like blank statement, Stephen, when you read this article, what were
Yeah,
you feeling? What was it meaning for us and our school partners?
for sure, for sure. Just a reinforcement, honestly, of what we'd said at the end of last season, which, if I could sum it up, and if you could take one thing from this episode, is just don't fret the policy.
Yeah.
Don't get caught up in geopolitical back and forth, because that's what it is. It's back and forth. And we've seen this for years, where certain governments or certain leaders are saying certain things. And you know what? We've learned over the last couple of years, over the last decade, that international education is really, really resilient. And that often, not always, but more often than not, the geopolitical stuff is just noise. And it's noise for the sake of noise, and nothing really comes from it, because we went through this whole visa ban, and then the visa ban was lifted, and then there were more background checks, and what was going to be happening, what was the future. And we had many schools at that time that we'd spoken about that had pulled out of the market and the industry completely, and we warned them against pulling out. We said, this is not a time to shelter. If you think that the market and the noise around the market is going to get better or get quieter, you're probably going to wait forever.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially, the article is just reporting on something that happened in a cabinet meeting with the U.S. government, where President Trump essentially said that he wants to allow close to 600,000 Chinese students to be able to come in and study in the United States, which is essentially double the number that were there in the previous academic year. I think the numbers are not really as important as just the idea that the government is saying, hey, we want international students to come to the US. And there are a couple of quotes in there from the president himself and from some of his cabinet, and it boils down to the economics of it all. It is a huge boost to the US economy when there are international students studying here. So you have international students that want to gain this incredible education, this incredible knowledge, both at US high schools and at universities. And you have a country like the United States that's able to offer that, and also able to get the benefit of that, which is a $50 billion a year industry. And that's what it boils down to. And as we know, with a lot of governments and a lot of administrations around the world, money is important. Economies are important, because that's what drives a lot of this. And so this is just good news, that once the dust is settled and we've got over the, often sort of hyped up what has been said, that the US is sort of opening back up. And I think from the industry standpoint, that's huge. I think it creates that momentum in the industry. But more importantly, also, I feel like it just lets students themselves and families who want to come to the US feel a little bit more relaxed about what's happening. We are wanted. This is a place where we can go and we have a future.
Yeah, and I think that that I want to like highlight from the article, and I know that you said like the number doesn't matter. Um, it doesn't in the sense of like we're gonna get the students that we get, but like having the number be 600,000, if you look at there's a graph in the article that says even in the last like I think it's like 7 years or so, that there's not even like the peak of it is like a little bit under 400,000, which means that there's hope that even more that's the goal. The goal is to to beat pre-pandemic numbers, right? To like be better
Good
than we
point.
were before. And a lot of people, because I came in at the pandemic into this industry, all I heard was about how great things were pre-pandemic. And so I think it's just nice to hear from a government side that we want to get it even better than pre-pandemic. And then I also just like think that the specific of this being Chinese students, it might be like, oh, well, that's not fair to Chinese students. But the thing is that like the more students we get in to be able to go to these schools, reality is, and everyone knows this, that it's more affordable for the Chinese culture to come over here. They're the ones that are willing to pay um, and have more reasonable funds. And for those who are looking for extended markets, you know that sometimes there are other countries that you have to give scholarships to. And so if we do have more of an increase in one area, it will open the doors to other countries too,
Sure.
because you
For
can
sure.
have
Good point.
and not only for, and then it's not a fair thing. We could also decrease the cost for Chinese students as well if we have more students coming in. So I just
Yeah.
think that like overall having an increased favor in one direction will help the globe perspective neutrally, I think. That's just like my thought process on it. We'll see how everything lays out, but I don't know, it just made me a little bit hopeful for not only just China but for other countries too.
For sure. I mean, you said it perfectly, and it's a great point I didn't even think about. Is for most of the programs, especially the programs we work with, scholarships are a result, and discounted prices for countries with less means than maybe China are a result
Hmm.
of filling up your seats and filling up your budget with domestic students and with students internationally that can afford it. So once a school has X amount of students and they fill those seats, they then have the freedom to be able to say, we want students that add a little bit more diversity from different regions in the world, and therefore we can open up these scholarship opportunities. So specifically for our markets, Turkey, Vietnam, Korea, this is essentially really, really good news. What does
Yeah.
this mean? I think as I'm studying about this, because we want to try and make this as practical as possible, this is a great article, this is great momentum. What does this mean? I think a couple of things. The first one, which I've already said, is stop listening to the noise, right?
Hmm.
Let's just focus on what you can control, because the noise will be there. And I guarantee sometime in the next 12 months, there'll be something else that tries to sort of
Yeah.
manipulate and change and put a force on the industry. Don't fret it too much. Focus on what you can control. What is it that you can control? With momentum like this, more and more schools, again, are going to really jump up their international efforts. Think about how you make yourself unique. Think about how you stand up. Is it your pricing? Is it the way you're marketing yourself? Is it who you're marketing to? Is it who you're partnering with? So these are all things that schools right now in particular, as we head into this new school year, we are targeting a spring 26 season of recruitment and then a fall 26 season of recruitment. Right now is the perfect time to invest, not just money, but to invest time, resources, strategy meetings, focus on what do we want for 2026. I've had so many school partners just in the last 2-3 weeks, and it's a symptom of the times, right? These schools have had the last couple of weeks of vacation. They've been able to work through these strategy meetings, look at what they've done in 2025. I've had so many meetings with schools that are going, we weren't good enough there. We didn't
Hmm.
do XYZ. And therefore, let's bring this. How do we change this for 2026? And that's been our conversations. Who are we marketing to? What is the market telling us? How do we infiltrate the market a little better or impact the market a little better? So if you're a school official that's listening out there, this is a great time for you to think strategically about what you want 26 to look like and to act strategically right now as well.
Yeah, and I think this is a good transition into some of our Cambridge news because
Mm.
it's really what we're doing too. Like, we're not asking school officials to do anything that we aren't doing. We are investing and we're strategically thinking and shifting how we even do things as a business. And so, and that results, we've had some new hires to our Cambridge team that into different markets. And so, Stephen, if you want to share about that, this is a little bit of our Cambridge update for our partner schools. And then if you're a future partner, this is what you will be connected to if you were.
Yeah, absolutely. Great timing on that. I think the huge thing, and this is just great news, in addition to what we're seeing coming from, the political world, is that we've hired specific marketing and business development specialists in Vietnam and in Turkey. Two, underdeveloped markets. Vietnam, we've been in that market for a long time, but it's certainly a tougher market to get into. So we've, hired new marketing and business development professionals in that area, and we've hired in Turkey, and we have a goal of hiring additionally in Korea as well. So all
Hmm.
of those, what we like to call our expanded markets outside of China, that are a little bit more price sensitive, but that certainly add that diversity aspect. We're really looking at developing those. So all of our school partners that we work with, in particular our Cambridge Enhanced Marketing partners, are getting the benefit of that, right? We are rolling out events, and we have been rolling out events, in particular Cambridge Enhanced Marketing digital events for the last 4.5, 5 years. Now we're just able to do it with that little bit of extra precision, where we have somebody in country who can not only, head up a lot of these campaigns, but can give us that inside knowledge of, you're not in country, so maybe you're a week or two or a month or two behind. What are the new trends digitally? What platforms should we be checking in on? How are open houses, digital open houses, or digital marketing campaigns structured to have the most impact in this market? And that's what those new hires give us. We're especially excited about the Turkey market, a market we haven't been in. So that's really a new venture of ours. And we've had some great partnership deals that have come through there, and some student recruitment that's come through there as well. So we're really excited about those two. Stay tuned for what's happening in Korea. I want to say, and hopefully I don't speak too early, this is just a good news pod. There's a lot happening, but really as we kick off, focusing on 26, these are all really positive things.
Yeah. And I think that as we keep going and as we have new news, I think each month of our podcast will just keep bringing new news, and the Cambridge side of us just hitting our goals and working and flowing as a team. So I'm excited.
Absolutely. We appreciate all of our listeners. We hope you've had a great summer, and we look forward to a great year ahead. Mariah Thompson, as always, thank you so much. Even though I was the one to bring the article today, you are a huge researcher and a great, contributor. So we appreciate you as always. To all of our listeners, remember to like, listen, and subscribe. Send us a comment if there's a topic you want us to deal with in season 7. Let's do that for you. And we'll catch you around the next episode of the Cambridge Insider Podcast. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Cambridge Insider Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel to never miss an episode. For more Cambridge updates, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Have a great week and stay connected.